Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 214 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today we have a great show in store for you. We're going to take you into Kessler, talk about a really great renovated home that you don't want to miss.
And in our second segment, we're going to talk about trigger leads and how to avoid them.
That's a lot. It is a very interesting topic.
It is. It's a harsh name for it.
It is.
But it's not as harsh as you think, but it's really good information.
And it seemed timely because I felt like we had three separate sources that all came to us at once talking about them. So we thought, you know what? This is a great second segment, and it'll help you and help make your life a lot easier. Just wait. So what did you do last week? And this is when we like to talk about what happened.
Let's see. I went to dinner with friends Friday night. I went to a new restaurant that's called Wonsan, and it's up by Republic, which is up on Inwood Road, north of Forest, south of LBJ. And I think it's the same owner. Somebody said it was the same owner as Republic, which is right next door.
I know where it is.
And
it's excellent.
It was excellent. The service was spot on. The food was spot on. Yeah. We had everything family style. There was nothing, which is I think a challenge sometimes in restaurants to have a little bit of everything and have nothing be bad. I was just blown away.
It is really good. I've eaten there as well. I forgot about that. I actually went over to Families, and they had. Do you have the Black Stone? Is that what it's called, Jeff?
Yep.
Where they grill kind of like a diner grill, and they made smash burgers on it. But they went one step further, and before they did that, they sautéed onions, bacon, and peppers, and then they seared both sides of the buns, and it was amazing. It was a really good time. And the best thing was Jason's mom brought chocolate cake for his birthday with peanut butter whip on top. That was really good. And I jokingly said,
I'm not diabetic, but I feel like that could be.
When I saw the cake come out, I said, I wish I hadn't ate that third hamburger. I'm just kidding. I didn't eat 3 hamburgers, but I did eat 1.5. It was really good.
What else did you do?
I did that ceramics class, and it was really good, even though I was like not successful at all. I made messes and I cussed a lot, but I think things are going to change. I think any day now things are going to go my way. So I don't know. I'm ready to bathe the dog. I can tell you that much. For some reason, I feel like it has to be just a little bit warmer. And I feel like this week, given the temperatures we've experienced, I'm like, hey, yeah, that's a great idea. I should wash the dog now.
Where do you take your dog?
Ooh, it's right there at Marsh and Forest, the Pet Connection.
Okay.
Because it was $40 for 5 washes, and it gives you, like, they have the step in, and they have an assisted ramp that gets them in, and then it shuts with a little gate, and then your collar can clip into their little thing, and then all of the soap is right here, and they even have, like, the plastic apron for you so that you don't get wet, and they have a bucket full of towels. And then the other thing, too, is you can blow dry your dog. And you don't have to make an appointment. You just walk in.
You know, I was thinking that
you're like thinking about what kind.
Maybe mine really do need a bath pretty badly, and I get tired of washing them in my shower. So I thought, maybe I'll run them up there. But if I need to blow dry them, but they're going to be like this big around if I blow dry them.
You need to do it. It is really good. It's a good place.
I'm just going to buy a Flowbee and cut them with that. You know what a Flowbee is? Fits on the end of a vacuum cleaner.
Stay tuned.
And that's what I'm going to do.
Zach, we're going to need a whole other segment for that.
We're going to need before and after photos.
We are. That is going to make the blooper reel like nobody's business. Well, you know what? Weather is really warming up and thawing out, and that's a great segment for today's Market Watch because it looks like that's where things are headed again for the second week in a row. We've coming off of the cold that we had in the middle of February. Coming soon is a status that allows you to tell other agents in the marketplace you've got something coming on the market, and that's up 2 points to 61. We have new active listings, which is down a point to 357, which is really nominal. And then option periods has stayed neutral at 357, and that's actually when both the buyer and the seller come to agreement and the contract is then executed.
And in pending statuses, those were up 15%. That's kind of that second status after the option period where everybody's really kind of agreed on repairs, and we're probably just waiting on final approval from the lender. Solds were up 37% to 299 in Dallas County, which is a great number to see, especially right now, because that occurred in the middle of the month.
I know.
So it definitely shows signs of the spring market are coming through now.
Yep.
Mortgage rates, we go to Optimal Blue, and the Optimal Blue kind of surveys the marketplace across the country, and their most common mortgage rate that they found on a 30-year conforming is 6.52%.
And I think this is really interesting. So if you go to Optimal Blue and you scroll to the very bottom, you can actually change some of the filters. We were looking at this morning with Jeremy. And that allows you to look at just at conforming loans that are 30-year or 15. You can scrub out the jumbo loans if you want to, or FHA loans as well. So you can get a little bit truer. But again, this is one of those things that is just no filters. It's just an aggregation of all loans that were closed in the last 7 days.
Right. And there are all these different things that create different pricing models, like debt to income, loan to value, credit score. All of those add or subtract points from your interest rate on an individual basis. It used to just be, here was the interest rate, but now there's that micro pricing that goes on, which, I'm not sure it's a bad thing.
Well, it looks like in January of 2023, the Federal Housing Agency has made some recommendations to take in effect a little bit later on this year. And one of the ones that we thought was a little bit interesting is that the debt to income ratios are not to exceed 40%, which is a little bit interesting. That's not a big variation of what we see today, but yet it is still one of the ways that we're tightening up. And then also there's some changes to what's happening in the FICO, whereas 740 used to be the big, hit that number and everything's great. And it's changing just a little bit. It looks like there's a couple of other stair steps, plateaus, if you want to call them, after 740 that would also give you breaks in pricing.
That's correct.
So
these start in May of 2023. One of the reasons we wanted to bring this up right now is if you are thinking about buying a home, especially if you're thinking about buying a second home or a vacation home, now is the time to do that.
And you know what? And I understand that this is tightening things up, but at the end of the day, this is actually making buyers more sound versus what happened in 2005, 6, and 7 when it was fog and mirror, it was no doc loans. This is one of those things that actually is shoring it up. And I think that's just a nice, going forward, we're going to be much thankful of that.
I think we will.
So
yeah,
we'll see. Without further ado, let's jump in and take a look at 810 West Greenbriar Lane, Dallas, Texas. This is 75208. This is in Oak Cliff. This is Sam Dealey Estates.
Which is part of Oak Cliff Conservation District. Really great location, located right off of Sylvan and 30. You've got wonderful access if you need to go to the airport, if you need to go to Love Field, if you need to go downtown, if you want to go to Six Flags. That I-30 is such a great way. I-30 used to be a tollway between Dallas and Fort Worth.
What?
When it was first built.
Zach, are you shaking your head like you know that?
I'll be reading about Dallas.
Okay. That's crazy. I'm like, no, I didn't know that. Well, this is a great area. This is really caught on. If you're not from Dallas and you're trying to differentiate between Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio, if you're looking for something that's like Austin and Dallas, this neighborhood and this area is one of your go-tos. I was just down there this week, and I don't know why I didn't bring this up in the first 5 minutes. Oak Cliff also is known for the Bishop Art District, and Bishop Art District puts on lots of really great things. And this last weekend, they had their very own Mardi Gras parade, and they've done such a great job, and they fold in so many different aspects of Oak Cliff. There was such a really great turnout. Wonderful time. We stood outside and drank beer. And
did they do the 5K with it this year, or have they kind of nixed that part?
I think morning.
They did have a run.
They did have a run?
Okay. I know that I have run in that one time. I've been to it 3 or 4 times with Tamara. One of the times that comes up on my timeline in Facebook all the time.
Golly, we should have had that, Jeff.
We should have, is Tamara with her big number coming in toward the finish line, and I'm standing on the side, and I ran over and jumped up next to her and somebody took a picture of it.
She got so mad.
It drives her so crazy every time I talk about that.
But at least you ran one once. I will never run them. I hate those things. I can't run with a lick.
It was a lot of fun. So, also, a couple of the other things in the neighborhood that you'll want to be aware of. Village Baking Company. This is just about to open their new location, and this is right in the heart of Bishop Art District. If you have not been down to Bishop Art District later, it is such a great little part of town to go to. Super, I'm going to say super modernized, which a lot of people might not like as much, but the quality of restaurant that you can get now is dramatically different than what it was 10 years ago.
Yep, and I believe they have one in Lois Greenville. They have one that they just opened across from Saloom or Green Papaya, and another one on Knox, and I believe this is going to be their 4th. This is one of the best croissants I've ever had, except for when I was in San Francisco. They're amazing. So jump in. You'll love it. One of the other things that is in this area that is a local business as well is called DLM. And Jeff snapped this picture of us in front of it. As you can see, I wasn't quite ready for the picture, but hey, we were moving, weren't we? So this is DLM. This is a great little shop. They've got tons of clothes. She used to be a buyer, I think, for Neiman's. And Devin is a sweetheart. Go in there, say hi. She's always there. She has a really good eye for both men's, women's clothes, and also just the accessories. One of the things that I swung in and bought from her the other day was pickleball paddles. She did a great job with them, and they're called Groove with a U and 2 dots. So go by, get these, and then once you have one, call me, and we'll go play some pickleball.
And then the last thing we wanted to talk about that is right across I-30 from this is the Claire Vista Holistic Health and Fitness Club. This is owned by a friend of mine named Chris Weigel. Chris and I worked out for many, many years together, and he is probably one of the most educated, intelligent people when it comes to fitness, life coaching, whatever you need. They do a lot of personal training there. You do not have to do personal training to belong to their gym, but it's a really great concept. There is a
Who's
picture
that?
of me at the old gym. And
What year was that, Jeff?
I don't know. Let's not click on that though. Chris and I have been friends for 25 years.
Hey, Zach, scroll back up to the top. Everybody take a, hold on for a split second. Go back up a little bit. One step further. There is a picture of Jeff on the home screen, that circle. Take a look at this. You want to see another picture of Jeff? Look at Jeff. Look at that form. That arm is so straight.
Isn't that great?
Golly. Look at him. I tell you, mercy. All right.
And I've made lots of friends working out with them. Anyway, if you're in that neighborhood, anywhere nearby, stop and take a look at it.
That's great. It really is. So let's talk about 810 West Greenbriar Lane. This is an amazing little area. This Greenbriar Street is a real quiet street, dead ends into a little park. And one of the things, we actually sold Richard Lehman's house just on the other side of the street. It is a really nice area. This is one of those neighborhoods that has, as you can see here, really mature trees and just a real soft lifestyle out there.
And this is like a warm cashmere blanket on a cold winter's night.
Jeff, you read that. So this house right here, one of the things that I loved about it as you walk in, it is a very warm and it has lots and lots of rich tones that are both within the wood and the paint. This is probably one of my favorite paint colors and didn't even know it existed. It is a deeper color, but they can get away with it because they have so many windows in this house.
And I love the floor plan of this because you've got this really large living room as you come in. You have a small, I'm not quite sure what to call that. Is it like a storage area? That furniture that's there fits in perfectly, and then it flows right into the dining room.
Yep, and one of the things that they are quick to point out is how well these doors have been made. There's lots of wood in here, and they have 13 mission-style oak stained doors throughout this house, and they really add a nice, rich touch to the house and a quality undertone that you just can't get in so many of today's modern homes.
Granite countertops, the mission style cabinetry in here as well with the what do they call it? Is it the glass? There's a term for that. Waterfall glass, and it's just spectacular. The granite is beautiful. You've got so much room to work. There's 2 sinks. There's a vegetable sink on the bar, and then the full-size sink that is, well, right there as you can see on the counter.
And they also have GE stainless steel cafe double ovens there as well. What I liked about this was that this statement granite that runs throughout is substantial and just really kind of continues on that rich tone of the wood rather than just doing an all white scenario. This is a nice little seating area plus a little pantry area. This kitchen area, though it doesn't open up to the family room, is in and of itself a really great self-contained room because it has, as you see here, a great space for seating, which could easily, as you see the wall art there, could be transitioned into a nice sized TV, but it also has the ability to turn into additional seating area for dining. And we like that concept for eating in and dining.
And this is the eating area in the kitchen, looking out over the back. Really great outdoor space that we'll get to in just a moment, but the interior has had light fixtures. I feel like were selected perfectly for each location.
Yep. So moving back into the master bedroom, this is a great view of both the backyard, but I'm also trying to put into scale how big this room is because those are 2 large chairs with a table between them, and then you have 2 end tables. So there is plenty of room in here, but the light. These are Anderson windows that have been replaced throughout the house and the garage, which really add the light, but also add that insulation that you need and that noise protection.
And this is the hall bath. Is this a hall bath or master bath?
Master bath.
Sorry. This is the master bath. Dual vanity, dual sink vanity. I love that they've continued to use the light wood and the waterfall glass into this. Separate tub and shower. The tub is a whirlpool type tub also, but you've got the glass block there that really gives you that natural light, but still gives you the privacy.
And so much of this is cosmetic and renovation that we're talking about, but a lot of things have been done behind the scenes, and we call those the heavy lifting items. So the Carrier Infinity variable speed AC has been replaced. They also did the ductwork, which is a really big thing that people do not do. They also have upgraded the panel box as well. And as I mentioned, the Anderson windows were replaced, but the floors, as you can see here, are white oak. And one of the great things is that these were redone by French Brown, and that is a really, really exceptional company that did that work.
And white oak is a really expensive wood to put in, and they did. You really get the different tones of the wood out of it, especially when you do it dark like that. It was beautiful.
Lots of flagstone outside that really provides you all year enjoyment. That grill right there, smoker, is exceptional. I wish we had taken a picture while we were out there. If you are a man or a woman that enjoys smoked meat, you need to run, not walk to this house, because it is set up for you.
It really is, and a huge backyard. So much room you could do. You could have a bocce ball court. You could do really anything you wanted out there.
Look at you, you sure could. So this is a really great transitional space. It's not too big and it's not too little. It feels like Goldilocks a little bit. It is just right. So this is 810 West Greenbriar. It is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage and a 2-car carport, built in 1950. It's just over 2,500 square feet, priced at $849, which is $337 a square foot.
And we'd like to say thank you to Melissa O'Brien for letting us talk about her home today. In the links below, you'll find the pictures that we didn't get to use in the show today. You'll also find links for all of the neighborhood amenities that we talked about before. If there's any other neighborhood that you'd like information on, just let us know. And with that, we'll be right back. Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pew, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you missed the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. It's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi everybody, welcome to the second segment, episode 214 of Sold with Updike Pew. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today we thought, let's educate our friends and family and buyers and sellers and talk about what trigger leads are before it is too late.
So, tell us what trigger leads are.
So I think as you said, let's talk about what they are from a bigger standpoint. So trigger leads are when you apply for something and you get unsolicited. And I think that the first time that we really started seeing this was when people at the closing table would be, the escrow agents would say, we're not going to sell your information, but when it gets recorded inside of the county, there are groups that are in there that are combing that information. So window blinds and everything is going to be like mailed to you.
Yeah, so it basically turns the consumer into a lead based on some activity they do. Like it's a closing, applying for loan.
Correct.
I mean, there are probably trigger leads that are created when you get a new phone now.
And I think that we're all kind of accustomed to them because, algorithms are a form of a trigger lead. The way
True.
that they see that you search on Google for something and then
Yep.
all of a sudden it appears in your social media lines. But these are a little bit different because they're annoying and they come in so fast.
So these are, as Weston was saying, what the one we're talking about this time is when you go in to I say you don't even have to go in. When you apply for a mortgage, when the lender pulls your credit from one of the three credit bureaus or all three credit bureaus, that creates a trigger action, which the credit bureau is now going to sell the fact that you just applied for a loan to not all, but any other lender out there that is willing to pay for it.
Yep. Alex Barker was telling us in an email update that he had been to a conference it was the Realty Allegiance Conference. And so one of the speakers got up and spoke, and to demonstrate this, had his credit pulled while he was talking in front of all of the audience members. And by the end of the day, I think they said he had 27 unsolicited contacts from brokers, and by the end of the week or Thursday, he had 127 unsolicited contacts. That is excessive.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is almost like going to lendingtree.com and applying, because all LendingTree is doing is they're selling that lead to 20 or 30 other lenders out there. So,
Yeah.
But the thing is with LendingTree, you probably know that you're going to be the one that's getting all that activity coming in because you're kind of requesting it in a way.
Right.
But when you're doing one mortgage application, that's a lot.
And this is when we contacted Jeremy Radcliffe with SWBC, and we said, wow, this is coming at us from two different angles. What are you guys doing about this? And he said that their default now is to not include the borrower's email or phone number so that it shields them from this bombardment.
Yeah, it's and all of that data is just out there so much. So I don't doubt that you're probably still going to get those calls,
Right.
even if your lender decides not to do that, but it'll certainly cut down on them.
100%. You're absolutely right. It's not fail-proof, but that would be definitely one of the considerations, is that with a lender that information not be submitted, and that if they're not willing to do that, maybe it would behoove you to slow down, call around, because it's going to happen to as many people are on the application.
And this is all legal.
Yeah.
The credit bureaus are able to do this through the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The Federal Trade Commission feels like it gives a consumer an opportunity to have many other opportunities, lots of other input. I don't like the part that no one tells the consumer that that's
Right.
going to happen, because that's what freaks everybody out.
At the top of the show, we talked about how this had come to us from several different sources, and we thought that might be a good reason to make this a segment. But the National Association of Mortgage Brokers, also known as NAMB, announced that its agenda for 2023 was to continue to advocate for the Trigger Leads Prohibition Act, which protects consumers and their data. And that'll be really interesting to see if that actually happens, because I feel like this is going to be trigger leads for across the board, not just in mortgage, that they're really fighting for.
Yeah, I would bet that we're going to start seeing it in many industries where there's one central repository for information.
It is, which is so wild right now, how big the world is, but how smaller I think it feels like it gets every day.
So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any other questions about trigger leads, reach out to us. We'd be happy to let you know what we know. If you have any other topics you'd like for us to discuss, just add those down in the comments below. We'll be happy to make that happen.
And just remember, we're going to be your realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.